Have you ever felt like you're aging faster than you should, even though you swear you're doing everything right? You watch what you eat, you get some exercise, maybe even pray more often. But then, you look in the mirror and don't recognize yourself. Or worse, you feel like your body is betraying you. Tiredness, aches, lack of energy. Maybe it's because you've been neglecting something basic, something 99% of people completely overlook. Properly cleaning certain areas of your body that accumulate more signs of aging than you'd ever imagine. And no, I'm not talking about a quick rinse with soap and water. I'm talking about a conscious, deep, almost ritualistic kind of cleansing. I'm Gabriel, and if you stick with me, I'm going to show you the forgotten areas that are speeding up your aging without you even realizing it. I'm not coming at this from a place of vanity, but from the power you have to restore dignity to your body, energy to your movements, and presence to your everyday life. Because there are things you don't notice until they start to hurt. And when they hurt, it's already too late. That's why this video isn't just about hygiene. It's about self-defense. Stay until the end. Not only will you be surprised by what we discover together, but you'll also learn how to take care of yourself in a way few people understand. Aging isn't a punishment, but neglect is. Let's change that, right here, right now. Number 1, don't ignore the base of your neck. That's where dignity begins. There's a part of the body that ages silently, without warning, without showing clear signs until it's too late. The base of the neck, that point where your head meets your shoulders, where the weight of your thoughts, your worries, and your silences rests. And yet, how often do you clean it with intention, with real care? We treat it like just another area, when in reality, it's one of the key hubs of both physical and emotional deterioration. Sweat builds up there, dead skin cells, muscle tension, and above all, neglect. And when you forget a part of your body, sooner or later, that forgetfulness turns into pain. Many people reach this stage of life carrying things you can't see. Losses, disappointments, grudges, all anchored right there at the base of the neck. The body is wise, but it's also demanding. If you neglect it, it starts to speak to you through stiffness, discomfort when turning your head, that feeling of not being able to look back without pain. And then comes the trap. You think it's just aging, but it's not just age. It's the gradual abandonment of the small habits that used to give you a sense of control. In Stoic philosophy, Epictetus taught that we can't control what happens, but we can control how we respond. Cleaning your neck every morning won't change the world, but it will change your posture, your energy, your way of stepping into the day. It's an act of presence, of connection. In traditional Chinese medicine, this area is known as an energetic channel, where the flow of qi gets blocked by emotional or physical tension. And stagnation, dear listener, is what ages us more than time itself. When you let tension settle there, when days go by without acknowledging that part of you, you don't just collect dirt, you gather resignation. So every time you clean your neck with warm water, with a soft cloth, or even with your own hands, do it like you're releasing a burden. You're not just removing impurities, you're letting go of what you no longer need. And don't rush through it. Do it slowly, because that's where dignity begins, by treating your body with the respect it deserves, even in the places no one sees. Some people think aging well is about luck or good genes. But the truth is, aging with vitality starts with invisible rituals, with the care no one applauds, but that you know you gave yourself. The base of your neck is one of those places, and if you clean it with intention today, maybe tomorrow you'll be able to face forward with more strength and without pain. And if that felt eye-opening, wait until you discover what's happening just behind your ears. There's a part of your story hiding there that's also in need of attention. Number 2, Behind your ears, the forgotten corner that tells your story. Picture Mr. Ernest, a retired teacher who lived in a small town for over 40 years. He was a disciplined man, the kind who rose early, holding a newspaper in one hand and a cup of coffee in the other before sunrise. No one ever questioned his sense of order. He walked upright, spoke properly, and kept his home spotless. But there was something only time would reveal. The quiet neglect he had shown towards certain parts of his body, not out of apathy but out of habit, that functional blindness we develop as we age. Among those overlooked areas was a tiny, hidden, but symbolically powerful spot, behind his ears. Over the years, that small area began to show signs of neglect. Irritation, built-up oil, mild infections that turned into persistent discomfort. Mr. Ernest, a man used to being in control, couldn't understand how something so minor could become so bothersome. Until one day, during a checkup, the doctor told him something that stuck. You clean your body the way you read a newspaper headline. But life is in the details, in the fine print. That shook him. Behind his ears, he had accumulated not just physical impurities, but also the arrogance of believing some things don't deserve attention. That's when he understood what Marcus Aurelius once wrote in his Meditations. Take great care with what is within your control, for in that, your character is revealed. That forgotten area became his small daily reminder that deterioration doesn't always come from grand catastrophes, but from ongoing omissions, from believing something so small couldn't possibly matter. Medically speaking, the skin behind the ears is particularly sensitive. It's a spot where sweat, natural oils, and dust easily gather, creating the perfect environment for bacteria and fungi if not properly cleaned. But beyond the science, there's something spiritual in the act. In many Eastern traditions, the ears represent listening, openness to the world, learning. Taking care of them and the space around them is also a way of tending to our relationship with what we receive from outside. As if, by removing the grime, we were also washing away judgments, background noise, words that never should have been said to us. Cleaning behind your ears is an act of humility. It's a recognition that no matter how much experience we have, there will always be corners of ourselves that need attention, physical, emotional, spiritual. This isn't just about hygiene, it's a daily practice of presence. Because when you take time to care for the small places no one sees, you're telling yourself you are worth that care, in every sense of the word. And if something so simple can transform your relationship with your body, imagine what the next step could awaken: your own hands. The same hands you've used all your life to build, to protect, to love, and yet, so often, the most neglected. Number 3, wash your hands like you're blessing your life. I want to suggest a simple yet powerful exercise. Tomorrow, when you wake up and head to the bathroom, don't wash your hands the way you usually do. This time, do it with full awareness. Turn on the faucet slowly, feel the temperature of the water, take a moment to notice how it flows between your fingers. Use the soap as if you were cleansing something sacred, not out of obsession, but out of respect. Because your hands aren't just tools, they're memory. They've held your children, worked long hours, touched faces that are no longer here. Every line in your palms tells a story and deserves to be treated with dignity. The Stoics spoke of self-mastery as the first step toward inner freedom. Epictetus said, "Nothing great is ever achieved without effort," but he also believed that effort begins with the small things. Washing your hands isn't just hygiene, it's a symbolic act. It's a reminder that you're present, that you're not just going through the motions. In psychology, these kinds of mindful gestures are known as identity anchors, small actions that reinforce your sense of control, your ability to choose. And trust me, that has a deep impact on how you age, not just physically, but emotionally too. There are studies showing that people who adopt mindful habits, no matter how small, build greater self-esteem over time. Not because those actions make them more valuable, but because they serve as reminders that they can care. And when you take care of yourself, you send a message to your mind. I matter. I haven't given up. And if something in this message has resonated with you so far, I invite you to support us. Give this video like if you believe these lessons deserve to reach more people. Subscribe if you haven't already. What's coming next might truly change the way you live this stage of life. And let me know where in the world you're watching from. I'd love to see how far this community of awareness and purpose is reaching. Because washing your hands isn't just another routine. It's a ritual that, if done right, can give you strength. It can remind you that you still have the power to shape your day, that every gesture, no matter how small, echoes through your well-being. Your hands have done so much for others. Today, do something for them. Number 4, your belly button isn't just a dot, it's your origin. In Ayurvedic medicine, the belly button is considered the body's energy center, the first life channel that connected us to the world. They call it Nabi, and it's not just a scar, it's a doorway through which nourishment, oxygen, and life itself once flowed. And yet, in our daily routines, we treat it like just another crease, an unimportant zone. We ignore it. We let it gather sweat, lint, soap residue, as if it held no memory, as if it didn't deserve reverence. But think for a moment, when was the last time you cleaned your belly button with real intention? When was the last time you acknowledged that this tiny hollow in your abdomen was the first sign of your existence, the first place your body was supported before it could support itself? Scientifically, we know that this area can be a hotspot for bacterial buildup. A study conducted in the US found that the belly button can harbor over 1,000 different species of microorganisms. This isn't just about hygiene, it's about what your body holds onto without your awareness. But let's go deeper. What else are you carrying that no one sees? What wounds, what resentments, what habits have you dragged along as if they were yours from the beginning, but that you could have let go of years ago? Your belly button is a living metaphor for the ties that once defined you, and that maybe today you need to reinterpret. Here's a simple gesture I'd like you to try. Tonight, after your shower, take a cotton swab dipped in olive oil or coconut oil and gently clean your belly button. Don't rush it. Do it as if you were caressing your story, as if you were giving thanks to that center for holding you up before you ever knew how to hold yourself. Visualize how, as you clean that space, you're also releasing a piece of your origin that no longer needs to carry unnecessary weight. Seneca once said that the wise man doesn't complain about his fate, but embraces it with clarity. But to embrace your fate, you first have to make peace with your origin. And sometimes that process begins with a gesture as simple as cleaning the place where it all began. Your belly button isn't a leftover from childhood, it's a silent beacon. And when you treat it with care, you remind yourself that you can still return to your center and from there, begin again. Number 5, between your toes, where balance grows old. There's a part of your body that supports you every single day, from the moment you take your first step in the morning until you lie down at night. And yet, you rarely look at it, let alone care for it with intention. I'm talking about the space between your toes. It may sound trivial, even ridiculous, but what happens in that small area is deeply connected to something much bigger: your balance, your posture, your independence, and with that, your freedom. As we age, it's not time that betrays us the most, it's the loss of balance. And that loss doesn't start at the hips or the back, it starts in the feet. Moisture, bacteria, and dead skin gather between the toes, and if left unchecked, they lead to fungus, infections, inflammation. But even more critical, you begin to lose sensitivity. And when sensitivity fades, the body starts to fear. Yes, fear. Because an unstable foot sends warning signals to the brain, which then responds with stiffness and tension. That's how the shaky walk begins, the shorter stride, the unexpected fall. Not because you're weak, but because your body doesn't trust itself. The philosopher Michel de Montaigne wrote in the 1500s, "My life has been full of terrible misfortunes, most of which never happened. How often have you held yourself back because of imagined fears, insecurities rooted in something physical, something concrete? The body isn't just a vehicle, it's the ground where emotions become symptoms. And when you neglect something as small as the space between your toes, you leave the door open to physical insecurity that quickly turns into emotional doubt." From a podiatric perspective, proper cleaning between the toes doesn't just prevent infections. It helps maintain flexibility and confidence in your step. In reflexology, those same spaces correspond to energy release points that directly affect the nervous system. You're not just cleaning skin, you're clearing built-up tension, fatigue, and missteps. Try it. After your shower, dry each of those spaces carefully, not in a rush, but with intention. Feel how tending to that part of your body brings you back to yourself, how it makes you bend, reach, and touch with compassion. Maybe it's been years since you've done that. Maybe you've just brushed a towel over them, pretending everything's fine. But today, in this moment, you can reconnect with your foundation, your root, because health starts where you stand. And if your feet are grounded, so are you. Marcus Aurelius said, "A man's life is what his thoughts make of it, but it's also what his steps make of it. Take care of them." Because every firm step you take today is an act of resistance against decline. And every time you tend to what's been forgotten, you remind yourself that no part of you deserves to be ignored, not even the one hidden in the folds of your stride. We've reached the end of this journey, and if you're still here with me, that means something truly important. You're still choosing yourself, your body, your well-being, your life, one that can still be lived with presence, dignity, and energy. And believe me, that's no small thing. In a world that often tries to push older people into the background, to quietly step aside, you've chosen a different path. You've chosen to care for yourself, to keep learning, and to take charge of what's still in your hands. I'm Gabriel, and if this message resonated with you, I invite you to subscribe and turn on notifications. Not to chase numbers, but to keep walking together on this path where health isn't just the absence of illness, it's the presence of intention. Each video is a chance to reconnect with yourself from the body to the soul, and what's coming next will go even deeper. If you've made it this far, I want you to leave a mark. Write, "I am Stoic" in the comments, and tell me which country you're tuning in from. I'd love to hear from you, to see this community grow, one where age doesn't hold us back, but strengthens us. Because when we share what we've learned, we multiply its value. Thank you for giving me your time, for opening up to these reflections, and for allowing yourself to discover that even the smallest gestures, like cleaning a forgotten part of your body, can shift your entire day. If you know someone who needs to hear this, share it. Maybe that simple act will be the first step in helping someone else feel alive again. I'll see you very soon. Until then, don't stop caring for the most valuable thing you have, your body, your mind, and the way you choose to live each day.